Well, hello, darlings. All right, here we go. Jen's After Hours. This is normally what Jen didn't get to say or what she should have said during the show and what she forgot. So, this is probably should be renamed the Jen Forgiveness Show. But I digress. I'm going to tackle a couple of things that we talked about today in the round table, which was beautiful, by the way, and thank you all so much for keeping your vibration and your energy high. I thought it was wonderful. Energy was great. Thanks again to the beautiful round table and everyone in the chat room. It was amazing. Spirit was great. It was just great. It was great. And I don't get to really pay attention to the chat until after the fact. They put the chat up within a couple of hours. It was great. It was great energy. Terry, honey, I told you, you better go on the road and be a comedian. You and your puns and your jokes. You're so funny. And you keep energy up with laughter. And I think it's beautiful. Now, with that being said, there was only really one thing that I wanted to focus on because I'm always about correcting myself. So I'm going to start with that, and then I'm going to go into what I did forget to do today. And it's not anyone's fault but my own. Let's start with the one thing I have to correct myself on. When Rocco brought up, well, DHP had the question about the Japanese hotel since 1705, or no, it was 705. AD. We were trying to figure out the origins, what it meant, what is hidden behind the scenes kind of thing. Here's what I found interesting. He had made the comment, it kind of reminded me of the John Wick movies and that hotel that they mutually go to. And I don't know why I said the Colonial. It wasn't the Colonial. I knew it started with a C, but it's actually the Continental is what I meant. The Continental I found fascinating. So I started digging a little bit deeper because the actor Keanu Reeves is a brilliant actor, and I have pull cards on him, and he's a beautiful creature he's a humanitarian. He is not bad by any means. He actually purposely picks his roles to get a message across. So, because I definitely know when he did the Matrix movies, he even said himself, that's a documentary, don't fool yourselves. But he also picked up John Wick because of the modern day assassins, the good versus evil kind of thing. But I found it fascinating, getting back to the hotel name, it's actually called the Continental. So I did a little bit more research, just because that's where my brain goes, of what continental means. So I'll give you a few examples, and then you do with it whatever you want to. Continental means actually inhabitant of mainland Europe. Okay, a little bit broad. Alright, but do you know where my brain went? Inhabitant of mainland Europe. My brain went to the Bank of London and 13 Families and that kind of stuff. That's just where my brain went. Now, it means forming or belonging to an organization or an agreement to. It is also Latin for continuous land, with, together, or to hold on to. Now I want you to think about hotels, and when you travel, if you do, or if you ever have, or you may in the future, I want you to think about terms that they will use in hotels. Continental cuisine, continental breakfast. All right. When we broke free of the British here in the U.S., it was the Continental Army. You see where I'm going with this? To break free or to be a separate part of, but it also means to be bringing together and be part of a group. And then you dig a little bit deeper. Oh yeah, because Jen does. Continental can actually be used and derived from intentional purpose of being active or passive. It is the intention behind the word. How many times have we talked about intention recently? Intentional. What does it mean to you? Are you active or are you passive? It just kind of lies there and flies under the radar, so to speak. Or are you actively making a point? Continental Army, they were making a point. I'm pretty sure that the Holiday Inn is just continental breakfast, and that's kind of passive. Nobody thinks about continental breakfast and all come together. You're meeting in one place and you're doing something as a joint community, okay? So once again, think about community and a collective and how they think. So if you think about it in a spiritual way, you could think of us as a continental collective family. You see where I'm going with it? Just a little food for thought, just a little something, a little smidge where Jen's afterthoughts go after we pick it apart. That's just where my brain goes. I won't apologize for it, it's just, it is what it is. But it's called the continental, and there is a root word for that, so pay attention to it when you hear it. Now, let's move on. One thing I did forget, and Nadia realized it after I did too, or I was already in the middle of the oracle cards, and I am so sorry, and I will apologize, but I will always keep my word, and I will make it up to you. I did not answer, I think, the 4 questions that were brought up that Nadia sent to me from messages on Wednesday's show after I got cut off. So I want to take a moment and go back to those. DHP had 1, and then Libby had 3. So that's what we're going to do. But before I tackle those questions, once again, if you received a giveaway reading today, if you have not contacted me already, please use the phone number in the description box. Just text me, let me know who you are, or you can use the email and say, hey, just want to touch base, can we set up a reading? They were given to you, by all means, please use them. And for those of you listening, don't get discouraged if you weren't chosen. Next week, a whole new group of people. It's if you've already had one, I'm not going to let them jump back in. I want this to be equal. So we've got enough of them. Almost all of you can come in and get a reading before the end of the month. Okay? Let's keep our intentions and our our happiness high. We get great energy here. But I am willing to agree to keep the contest going. Whether it's your own free will and you just want to buy coffees, or you've got a goal and you want to earn readings. It's totally fine. And like I said, if you buy them, you can either use them for yourself or you can donate them to somebody else. You can bank them. I don't care what you do. You do you, boo, right? All right, let's get down to it. I do want to answer the 4 questions that were given to me, and I just bypassed them. We just got busy today, and it was crazy. but stuff happens. But I owe them to you. I'm going to give them to you. So I'm going to start out. I'm going to do Libby's all together. So let's just do DHP's. First and foremost, he just simply asked, is there a dark Merlin, since we brought him up discussing King Arthur? So let's look, was there a dark version or dark Merlin? It's pretty much a yes or no, but if Spirit wants to elaborate on that, I'm sure they will tell us if they want us to know. I'm using Tarot of Dreams tonight. So big, bold, beautiful cards, and we will trust what we get is only of the divine. Alright. So is there a dark Merlin? What can Spirit tell us? Is there a dark Merlin? I did discuss this just a little bit on my afterthoughts, but that's only my personal opinion, and I don't want my ego to get involved, so we're just going to ask Spirit, was there a dark Merlin? Yes, there was. Very much so. This is a contract. All right. So we start out with the Lover's card, which is a contract, but it has to do with passion, desire. And in love, it's about intention. Now, if it's love and desire for a partner, that's one thing. No. This is gonna blow your mind, DHP, but you asked about twin flames and the BS comment that, please, that's not a thing. Actually, it is. If you've got one versus the other, it's just a contract. You've got good versus evil. Okay? It's a twin no matter what. It doesn't have to be all positive, but it's an agreement. You've got one bad side, you got one good side. That's what it represents. Now, this is not supposed to cause you anxiety. The Nine of Swords represents, please do not lose sleep over this. Merlin's all good now. I talked about that in my afterthoughts. Merlin corrected himself. Even if he lost sight of what his purpose was, he corrected himself. The Knight of Swords, because he was a warrior at the end of the day, knew the truth. Swords are about truth, words, and how it gets out. He fought for that. It was totally fine. He reconciled his contract, okay? That's what he did. And he started over again with a new beginning. Page of Wands is about new beginnings. So there was a dark side to Merlin, but he corrected and reconciled it. No worries. Okay? Okie dokie. Alright. So there's that one. Now, Sister Libby had 3 questions, so I'm going to take those and we're going to do one at a time. Alright? Bear with me. Alright. Sister Libby asked, here's her first one. Is the Da Vinci Code my life story? Is the Da Vinci Code my life story? So, the Da Vinci Code, the book versus the movie, I'm going to allow Spirit to answer that at their own free will, because there is a difference between the book and the movie, believe it or not, normally is. But the Da Vinci Code is actually a Bible code. So let's see where Spirit wants to lead. And if the answer is no, I'll tell you. If the answer is yes, we'll see what they have to say to elaborate on that information. Miss Libby wants to know, is the Da Vinci Code her life story? And I'm assuming that's maybe generational, spiritual, energetically. Let's just see where Spirit takes it. Da Vinci Code, Libby's life story. you've got yeses across the board. There's something very strategic about this, though. All right, so let me explain. So the Nine of Cups is a definite yes. It's a celebration. You belong to a collective or a group or a bloodline or a family that is all together and they celebrate. Absolutely. It's a group celebration. So you have a part of this. Now, the Da Vinci Code, I think the reason that they're explaining this is it's so secretive that this is about strategy and whether the truth gets out or not with those swords. This is about strategy. They planned this perfectly. It was divinely planned and they had to strategically either put the truth out or withhold it. But the Da Vinci Code is, you know how we always talk about good or bad, and they always drop truth, right? All right, here we go. Humanitarian, Six of Pentacles, giving and receiving. This is supposed to be a gift to humanity. The answer is yes. And the final card is the Four of Wands. You belong to that beautiful celebration of a family. They're all positive cards. This is, you open that door, you better be prepared for what you're going to walk into. But they're all yeses, Libby. Yes, this is celebration. You should be happy because this is also reuniting with family. So if you are a representation, if your life is the Da Vinci Code, the cards tonight agree with you. Absolutely. That is a solid yes. Okay? All right, here we move on to Sister Libby's second question. Was I the Grail Princess chosen by King Arthur to receive the chalice in Avalon? Was I the Grail Princess chosen by King Arthur to receive the chalice in Avalon? Wow. Grail Princess. All right. Now we did discuss King Arthur just a little bit about how he was divinely chosen to pull that sword out. Well, if he was the rightful king and he was devoted to the divine, he would determine who would be chosen. So let's see, were you the Grail Princess? Now we also have to remember this is not just one density or timeline. This is multiples because the story has happened many, many times in many different densities, okay? But we are simply asking, no matter what timeline or density it is, was Miss Libby the Grail Princess chosen by King Arthur to receive the chalice in Avalon? That means to be found worthy. Wow. All right, let's take a peek. All right, Miss Libby. Grail Princess, chosen by King Arthur. Okay. Well, sweetheart, that's a huge yes. You have two major arcana cards to start, and then you have one. That's why you were not recognized for it. And the third is another major arcana. So yes, for all the world to know, you were supposed to be recognized as this. Okay? So if you're going to be the Grail Princess, the whole world should have known it. But there's always a but. Don't you love those? Temperance, spirituality. It's an angel. So to protect you, they had to cut off the 3D and make it more spiritual. So it's what it stood for versus being it in the 3D, I guess you could say. All right? But that's temperance. But it also means be patient because your time is not up yet. The reason that you were not recognized for it, or if you were, it was short-lived, is because it was too much burden. See all that burden and all that stacked on his back? Way too much, sister. Way too much. Your final card is the Wheel of Fortune. Whatever happened to you then in that lifetime and that density will reverse itself. It will pay itself out in the end, okay? And Wheel of Fortune is a true physical Wheel of Fortune. You will see the fortune behind it. If that is your bloodline, which according to Spirit it is, you will receive that once again. But in this past density, they took their time and said that is way too much for sister. Alright, you on to something. Your base card is beautiful. The 9 of Pentacles. Oh yeah, you're so solidly like, this is being independent in a solid form of, I get to dictate what's happened to me. I am so full of abundance and purity, and I call my own shots. Alright? If I want that little dove to fly away or fly back to me, I am in charge. So yes, princess. Definitely. The card under that's the Sun card. Absolutely. These are huge cards. Libby? The answer is yes. Now you had one final card, so let's get to that. You asked, was I the daughter of the Earl of West Calder? Was I the daughter of the Earl of West Calder? Now, I have not gotten into that study, forgive me, but it doesn't matter. Spirit's going to know the answer anyway, whether I know it or not. Were you the daughter of the Earl of West Calder? Why do I get the feeling there's secrets behind this? I just got this like whispering, there's something secretive about it. Was this not supposed to be known? Was I the daughter of the Earl of West Calder? I still just get a heaviness of secrets involved. Maybe it couldn't be known? Just to protect you? Wow, that card came back in here. So did that one. Yeah. You couldn't be recognized for it though. You absolutely could not be recognized for it. The daughter of the Earl of West Calder. Like I said, I don't know who that is. Doesn't matter. Spirit will tell me what they wanted me to know. You could not know this. Because this is a heavy burden on your family. That's the dude that just sits there and goes, really? He's a warrior, but he's beat down, he's tired, can't take it anymore. Let me just sit here for a minute. You're on pause right now. You're in limbo. Yeah. Daughter of, baby Page, absolutely. Page of Wands is about starting a new beginning. So you belong to this bloodline no matter what it is. I don't even know what it is. But yes, you do. But the bloodline couldn't take it anymore because of that card. I found it interesting that a couple of cards came back in here, even though after I just shuffled them. That is that 9 of Pentacles. 9 of Pentacles is about being independent and sovereign and being somebody. That's standing up, I'm independent, and I am somebody. Can you hear me now? You understand what I'm saying? So Libby, that's what that means. The next card that repeated itself was the Sun card. You bet your bottom dollar you are. There is something special about this. So whether you have to give me a history lesson too, I've only got so many hours in the day. Was the daughter of the Earl of West Calder, how is that related to King Arthur's court? Just curious. Or was it, or is this something totally different? But the answer is yes. I don't need to know. Maybe it has nothing to do with it. But you'll let me know. And the final card on that is the World. Yes. To have influence and a solid foundation across the world. Okay? So the answer is yes. Well, Miss Libby, I hope that answers your questions. Base card on that, kind of interesting. It kind of puts a little twist to it. The base card is the 8 of Pentacles, which means there was way too much work to do. So much work involved in that position. Interesting. Give me a history lesson. I encourage it. If you guys know something that I don't, I encourage you to let me know. Educate me. I don't have to be the educator all the time. I don't even look at myself as an educator. I can give you spiritual advice, but I just don't see it that way. We all work together. I am no more important than you are. You have the same abilities I do. We're just all different, and we're all on different levels. And the sooner we accept that and stop butting heads, and why can't I do this, and you can do this, well, you can do a whole lot of stuff that I can't do. We gotta start remembering who's in the mirror and stop spitting on it. You are precious. And that's not sarcastic. Aren't you precious? Bless your heart. That's a good version. Just remember it, but you gotta believe it in here too. But as you're looking into past lives, I want to encourage you to do something. And this is not to boost my business for private readings, but I do want to show you something that I'm offering people. There are certain decks that I don't normally use, but now I'm going to offer them just because they're very complicated, but I do want to show you something just because your reading inspired me to do it. So there is an oracle of past lives that is very, very complicated. It's one of the most complicated decks there is. So let me show you. It's a two-sided card. They are not tied together. You have to use them against each other. I know. What are you talking about, Jen? Well, you'd understand it if you did my business 24/7. So, let me show you something. So this is called a wheel oracle, okay? Now, I'll try to zoom in as much as I can. So it will tell you your identity, who you were, time frame, lesson, love, faith, trauma that you in where you were at located, how you died, who you loved. There is so much involved in these cards, and they're all different. And this is a massive stack. So if I shuffle them and I pick up on your past life spirit or your spirit, which one lifetime frame density it wants to choose, it will come in. I would be able to tell you all of those. I just spin the wheel and I read them, and it goes with something else that I have. It's a book and it explains a whole lot. It's just something that I sit and study. That's what I do when I'm not talking to y'all. And now I want to show you the other side. The opposite side of the card has nothing to do with the front side. It's like two oracle decks in one. Now the back side will tell you, let me see if I can do it. All right, so this has to do with a lot of emotional cords that need to be cut and repercussions or karma that needs to be corrected. Excuse me. So it will tell you like too much obsessive love, or I had too much jealousy. This one was I was abused. Everything's about emotions. I was an orphan. There's a lot of different things. It just depends on how it gets shuffled based on your spirit coming in. But that is an oracle deck based on your past life and whatever spirit wants to focus on They will absolutely help me hone in on it and then help you heal and correct it. Okay? It's a really, really cool deck. And then I also have these that represent your soul and spirit, which you carry from every lifetime. If you ever want to know who exactly you are, what has never changed, like say 500 years ago, your spirit has not changed, your personality hasn't really changed. These are archetype oracle cards, and each one of them represents something. If you have always been the warrior, it will show up, okay? If you've always been the queen, it will show up. Now, queen doesn't have to mean that you had a physical crown on your head, but it can mean a frame of mind. But they all mean something. That's how thick that deck is too. They all mean something. And most likely, it's carrying over into your personality to this day. And if there's anything you want to work on or understand about yourself that you haven't quite figured out, these are the decks that I have that I can use to help you, okay? Along with all kinds of other oracle cards. And we'll always offer those to you, okay? Just saying. I do have them, and if you want me to elaborate, get a hold of me. Yes, I do run a business, but I know many of you are just curious, all right? And if you need that free reading because of financial reasons, tune in next week because we're going to give away 3 more, all right? We're just going to keep doing it. We're on a roll. Call us butter. We on a roll. All right? All right, guys. I just wanted to come on, touch base with you with Jen's little after hours. Sounds like a weird midnight show. Welcome to After Hours with Jen. Now that sounded creepy. I don't want to sound like Sling Blade. Anyway, I wanted to correct myself on the title of the John Wick Hotel. So it's the Continental, not the Colonial. Started with the C. Do I get a half a point? Just a little bit. And then I wanted to answer the questions that I just forgot. I literally just forgot. We just got busy and there's just a whole lot going on. Okay? That's all I wanted to say. But with that being said, Jen's After Hours is coming to a conclusion, and it's already Saturday. And I said I wasn't going to work on a weekend. All right. I'm not. I'm out. I will see you Monday. Well, at least pop in Dennis' show tomorrow. Watch Dennis' show. 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard. And if you're in the middle, do the math. Jen's too tired to do math. Alright? In the meantime, till next time, darlings. Love and light. When you realize you forget a whole lot. Sorry. I do love you. And my intention is pure. And I will always make it up to you, I promise. My word is my word. I love you guys. Enjoy your weekend. Be blessed. And if you need to get a hold of me, especially you free readers, come on now. Get a hold of me. We'll get you scheduled. Love ya. Blessings.